Here are the odds to win the NFL MVP for the 2016-2017 NFL season. And it is brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com. Anchor handicapper is me, Joe Duffy, your NFL specialist. Been winning since 1988 publicly on the score phones and many years before that privately. As you can see, several quarterbacks, the quarterbacks dominating the favorites: Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Andrew Luck. The odds makers expect him to have a bounce-back year. Be honest with you, a little surprising to see he and Tom Brady both at 14-1, not to mention Carson Palmer, a guy who's had some pretty good regular seasons, and this is a regular season award, but surprising to see him and Tom Brady. Of course, Brady will miss first few games because of suspension, but if the Patriots do struggle without him and then all of a sudden with him, he could be the MVP, but obviously he more of a long shot because of the suspension, and we'll see how many more times it'll be appealed and overturned. Le'Veon Bell, the highest rated non-quarterback, or the favorites among non-quarterbacks, and if he can remain healthy, obviously a huge cog for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another guy, Todd Gurley, had a heck of a year. You can see some more running backs on that list. Can Derek Carr have a breakthrough year? Tony Romo coming back from injury. But remember, throughout the NFL season, it is OffshoreInsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com. J.J. Watt, not surprisingly, is the highest among any defensive players. And Antonio Brown, another valuable member, coming back healthy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brock Osweiler, very interesting choice there. We know the Denver Broncos. Of course, he was the backup quarterback last year for the Broncos, but no more. Ezekiel Elliott. Wow, can he have a big breakout season for the Dallas Cowboys? Jay Cutler, the annual underachiever. Marcus Mariota, considering how bad the Titans are expected to be this year, he's somewhat of a long shot. But then again, if all of a sudden they are the Cinderella team, no question Mariota could be a great long shot. What isn't a long shot is Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com will be the winningest handicapper, again, the winningest handicapper of all time. Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com. Now we're getting to more of the bigger long shots. Odell Beckham maybe makes those dramatic catches, but he's not among the favorites. Phillip Rivers, another guy who will look like the MVP favorite perhaps after 4 games and then go on about a 3-game stretch where he throws 6 or 7 interceptions. Kirk Cousins, we'll see if he now, without any quarterback controversy in his way, without a RG3, maybe he can really have a breakout year. Jamal Charles is of kind of interest. If he can ever stay healthy, Charles, very versatile running back, can catch the ball, can run the ball. He might be the best of the long shots that I have seen so far. Again, brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. There you can see on OffshoreInsiders.com where you do want to follow on the social media on YouTube. Subscribe to us at Offshore Insiders. Also on Facebook, go to Facebook/Offshore Insiders. Twitter, just note, because of the limited characters, there's no S at the end, so we're Offshore Insider, singular, on Twitter. Can Colin Kaepernick put his game together? How about DeMarco Murray? Obviously coming off a disastrous year, but as a general rule of thumb, just like we found with teams, with players, really go with the previous year's biggest disappointment as a long shot. And DeMarco Murray could potentially be a heck of a long shot. And speaking of, now we're really going deep. Can Jared Goff have a spectacular year as a rookie? Devonta Freeman, heck of a running back, especially when he can hold on to the ball. RG3, another one of those very interesting long shots, to say the least. Nobody dominates any sport the way Joe Duffy's Picks does the NFL. Your NFL specialist, Joe Duffy's Picks at OffshoreInsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com. Richard Sherman, kind of interesting as a 400-1. Obviously, he a big name guy because of the controversy in the NFC Championship game a few years ago. But he's one of these guys that touches the ball with interceptions, could intercept the ball, return it for a touchdown. So he probably, of the defensive players, the best long shot, not just because of the name recognition and Ndamukong Suh, perennial disappointment, but talent-wise, he could be a pretty good long shot too, although defensive players generally don't win the MVP award. Shady McCoy, another guy with enormous talent, but never seems to exactly put it together. Pretty good at running his mouth, but might be somewhat interesting at 300 to 1. Again, these odds are brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com. Make sure you check out our YouTube page where we have some other videos, slideshow presentations about important odds, whether it's the Heisman Trophy odds, all that and more at OffshoreInsiders.com, www.offshoreinsiders.com.